Rigor Mortis film. Rigor Mortis is a 2013 Hong Kong horror film directed by Juno Mak and produced by Takashi Shimizu. The film is a tribute to the Mr. Vampire film series. Many of the former cast are featured in this film: Siu-ho and Tenny Chan, Billy Lau and Richard Ng. Additionally, Chung Fat, who starred in Encounters of the Spooky Kind, is also featured. Plot: actor Siu-ho, former star of Mr. Vampire, is suicidal after his wife and young son leave him. He moves into a dilapidated apartment building and hangs himself. His struggles draw the attention of twin girl ghosts who haunt the apartment, and they possess his body. Yao, a neighbor, bursts into the room, cuts the noose, and drives the spirits from Chin's body. Later, Chin visits Yao's restaurant, and Yao explains that his family are Jiangxi vampire hunters, but he has grown weary and taken up cooking instead. Elsewhere in the apartment building, an elderly man named Uncle Tung falls down a stairwell after encountering a ghost and dies. His wife Mei asks Gao, a black magician living in the building, to resurrect Tung. Gao performs a ritual on the disfigured corpse and explains that Tung will revive after several days. Gao instructs Mei not to remove the mask he has put on Tung's face. Chin meets Yang Feng, a traumatized woman, and her son, Pak. Chin learns from the apartment's security guard, Uncle Yin, that Yang and Pak previously lived in the unit he now occupies, and that the twin ghosts haunting the apartment were students being tutored there by Yang's husband. The husband raped one of the twins and was then stabbed by the other, who herself received mortal wounds in the scuffle. The remaining twin, distraught, hung herself. These ghosts caused Yang to flee the apartment. Chin resolves to banish the ghosts so that Yang and Pak can move in with him. After Yao refuses to help, Chin returns to his room and is ambushed by Gao, who performs a ritual on him that summons the twins. They possess Chin again and attack Gao. Yao rushes in, and together, Gao and Yao exorcise the ghosts from Chin, binding them in a cabinet. Yao instructs Gao to burn the cabinet. Gao promises to, but instead secretly keeps the cabinet. Mei, frustrated that her husband Tung has still not resurrected, demands more help from Gao. Gao admits that virgin's blood might speed the resurrection process. Uncle Yin, investigating Tung's absence, interrupts their discussion as he is suspicious of Gao's knowledge of black magic. When he asks Gao about Tung, Mei beats Yin to death with a pot. Later, young Pak visits Mei alone. Mei hesitates only briefly before locking the virginal Pak in the bathroom with Tung's monstrous corpse. Against Gao's instructions, Mei has removed the warding mask from Tung's face. Tung revives and horrifically murders the child as Mei listens, tears streaming down her face. Sensing powerful evil, a vampire hunting artifact on Yao's wall begins to react. Yao rushes to Gao's apartment. He finds Gao mortally wounded, savaged by the revived Tung. Gao confesses that Tung has risen as a Jiangxi and will haunt the apartment complex. Moreover, Gao was responsible for Tung's original death, having thrown him over the rails after it turned out Tung had survived the initial fall. Gao explains that he is terminally ill and he had planned to bind the twin ghosts' souls in Tung's soulless body to gain power and extend his own life. By removing Tung's mask, Mei has let the Jiangxi run amok. Yao alerts Chin, who rushes off to find Yang. Yang, searching for her missing son Pak, unwittingly opens the cabinet containing the ghost twins. Invisible, they escape. Yang encounters Pak, who to her dismay is now a ghost. Enraged, she tracks down the Jiangxi and attempts to destroy it using an improvised mace, but she is severely outmatched and it ultimately kills her. Chin arrives seconds later and sets the Jiangxi aflame with a Molotov cocktail. While this appears to barely damage it, in the ensuing struggle, the Jiangxi crashes into a store of rice and is immobilized. However, the twin ghosts appear and eagerly possess Tung's corpse. Revived, the powerful ghost-infused Jiangxi easily impales Chin through the stomach with a pole and leaves him for dead. Chin, terribly injured, is found by Yao as he prepares to battle the Jiangshi. Yao uses a spell to stop Chin's bleeding. Chin insists on helping, even though Yao warns him he will die. Using vampire hunting tools, Yao sets a trap that temporarily binds Tung to that location, allowing Chin to fight him. Yao uses his tools to weaken Tung, but Chin is unable to gain the upper hand before the trap expires. Yao sees that it is now dawn and drags the entangled Chin and Tung out a window, where they fall into the courtyard. The sunlight immediately begins to burn the vampire, and the twin spirits are forced out. As Tung crumbles to ash, his humanity briefly returns when he witnesses Mei slit her own throat. Chin and Yao collapse from exhaustion. In the final sequence, the audience learns that Chin was actually successful in committing suicide, and that the events the film chronicles were created by Chin's dying mind in the process leading to rigor mortis. In reality, the film's characters are people Chin passed on the way to his apartment. Yang and Pak are friendly neighbors. Mei is a widow admiring a picture of a late Tung, and Yao is a neighbor who rushes in too late to save the hanged Chin. At the morgue, Chin's adult son identifies the body for the medical examiner, Dr. Gao. Cast: Siu-ho as Siu-ho, Anthony Chan as Yao, Kara Wai as Yang Feng, Chung Fat as Warlock Gao, Lo Hoi Pang as Janitor Uncle Yin or Grandpa, Richard Ng as Uncle Tung, Pa Hee Ching as Auntie Mei, Morris Ho as Pak, Billy Lau as the cook. Release: Rigor Mortis premiered at the Venice Film Festival. Reception: Rotten Tomatoes, a review aggregator, reports that 68% of 22 surveyed critics gave the film a positive review. The average rating was 6.2/10. Metacritic rated it 53/100 based on 8 reviews. Clarence Tsui of The Hollywood Reporter called it a lavish, heavy-handed retreading and reinvention of Hong Kong and Japanese horror film tropes, saved from clinical inhumanity by its veteran cast. Justin Chang of Variety described it as a flashy, incoherent, and virtually scare-free Hong Kong horror exercise. Daniel M. Gold of The New York Times called it a relentlessly creepy film that uses less comedy than Mr. Vampire. Martin Tsai of the Los Angeles Times wrote, "The film supplies a succession of hyper-stylized and potent set pieces without ever establishing any sort of internal logic."